Welcome back to Detour to Neverland, where we are excited today to talk about all things Christmas. So it's our first official Christmas as locals. And I think this is the season, maybe excluding Halloween, which I don't know what else that leaves. But I think this is the season that we're most excited for. So join us today as we dive into it.
So welcome back to Detour to Neverland. Today is episode number 232. We're so excited. We've got on our Christmas attire. We've already been to Magic Kingdom once during this season. We are fully ready to soak in all of the Christmas and the holiday cheer this year. So I think what we're going to do today is we're going to just walk through the different parks in Disney Springs, maybe get some resort talk as well, and just talk about what we're looking forward to this year. So if you are making a visit down during this holiday season, maybe we can talk about some things that you might want to incorporate into your visit. And if not, I think it's always just a fun chat about spreading that Christmas cheer. Who could not be happy when you're talking about this kind of stuff, don't you think?
Oh, yeah. Disney and Christmas go hand in hand. And it's interesting because when we think about like our first holiday season down in Disney, this is something that we are looking forward to. We've been lucky enough to do Christmas at Disney in the past, mostly just because my sister's been down here. And my parents are the kind of parents who it's like, no one gets left behind, like you can't celebrate Christmas without everyone. So we kind of knew what to expect to a certain extent. But I would say up until this point, and correct me if I'm wrong, Brendan, but we've been more of like Disney Halloween people. And I think it stems back to, I never liked Halloween growing up. It was just never my favorite holiday. It's fun to get candy and everything like that, but it never quite compared to Christmas. And then when we went to our first Not So Scary Halloween party, it was 2016. It was the same year we got married. And I feel like a flip switched for us. And
a flip switched or a switch flipped? One of those two things happened.
Either way, something happened inside us. And I'm excited now to see what happens now that we're here and we can completely experience everything that Christmas has to offer, because it's a lot.
So just to kind of expand on that conversation a little bit, I think Halloween was maybe the most exciting thing, but I think it also might just be because it happened first. And so we were super excited for the first kind of different experience that we were going to get to have in the parks being down here. And we don't get to do the Christmas party very often. I think we only did it once in 2016 because normally we come during the week of Christmas when either the parties are already sold out or they're not having them. They don't have them on Christmas.
Yeah.
I think they have them a few times in normal years in between Christmas and New Year's, but we've never partaken in that. But I would agree. I think Halloween was excellent this year. But I've seen it described online, and I think it's exactly right, is that it was almost like we got Halloween light from Walt Disney World just because they're trying to do all the safety measures right now. They are going all out for Christmas, it seems.
Oh, yeah. And I think that's a big theme for today is just that, we got a little taste of what Disney could give us for a holiday during this time with Halloween. And I mean, I would venture to say that anyone who got to experience the cavalcades and the decorations, I was still very happy with it, but I do have to say that Christmas is all out and it just makes you feel warm and fuzzy inside. Like this is the joy that we've been looking for.
And I do want to do one little caveat before we start is that we're not trying to convince anybody to come to Walt Disney World right now because there's so many different variables on if you have kids and if you visit with people who are at risk or if you are at risk. So we're going to try to keep the conversation just to be that this is what's happening down here. And even if you're not experiencing it, it's still happy to see that Walt Disney World is doing a lot of these things and spreading some of that Christmas cheer. So I just don't want anything to get misconstrued that we're trying to convince anybody to come down here. But if you do, say hello to us.
Yeah.
We love saying hi to people. And we'll try to give you any tips of what we experience. So let's take it park by park. And we'll start with a park that we've already been to. And we still haven't experienced everything that they have to offer. Mm-hmm. But we went to Magic Kingdom twice this weekend, which was kind of surreal that we went back-to-back days. We went once to experience the nighttime stuff and once to experience the daytime stuff. And they were both fantastic. So we went to Magic Kingdom, and here's the list of things to go down. So the biggest thing I think Magic Kingdom has to offer is the Christmas cavalcades. I think already Magic Kingdom had the best cavalcades.
Oh, yeah.
Out of anywhere. But now the Christmas cavalcades, they're almost mini parades, or they are mini parades.
It honestly completely exceeded my expectations, because we had seen what they were previously doing, and in even some of the other parks where it's just like one float or one boat and just a few characters on there with some different music. And that was really cool. But this truly is, and I know Disney would probably hate us saying this, but it is like its own mini parade. I mean, it's larger. It feels more exciting. There's more choreography. There's more performers. And it gives you that complete feeling, like you truly are getting the entire Merry
Mickey's
Very Merry. It's a mouthful. Very Merry Christmas parade. Just at different times throughout the day. So that's super exciting.
So let's take them one by one. I think the best one, hands down, is the Mickey one. And so I'm curious, can we name every character that's there? You're already giving me a look. You don't know if that's the best one.
I'm already giving you side eye. Yeah. We'll see about that.
But let's try to remember who all was part of the Mickey cavalcade. So there's one float in this one, and the remaining characters are all walking. And they're in front of Mickey and Minnie, and they're behind Mickey and Minnie. So in front, there was Pluto,
Donald,
Daisy.
I'm trying to picture it in my head.
Well, maybe it's not a good exercise for us to try to remember every character.
Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, Mary Poppins, Bert, Peter and Wendy. Did you say that? And then, of course, Minnie and Mickey are on the floats.
And so Minnie and Mickey's float itself is a gigantic Christmas tree with a train going around it, which I really enjoyed. And they're wearing their Christmas sweaters, and we've seen them twice. They're wearing two different things each day, so they do change their outfits as well.
How fun is that? We get to change Christmas attire. We'll try to wear all of our fun Christmas sweaters and things like that. And they do too. So good for them. I'm glad they have options.
Tigger too. Did we say Tigger?
Tigger and Pooh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So next one that comes to my mind is the Goofy Yummy, Yummy, Yummy float. That's not what it's actually called.
But that's what he says over and over and over again.
But if you hear the song, yeah, Goofy's just saying yummy, 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 yummy over and over. It's been in my head all weekend and all day today. But that one leads with Max driving. I'm 99% sure that's Vanellope's old car that she used to drive.
She's just lending it to him.
But it's now a gingerbread car, and Max is driving it in front of Goofy, where he is there on a gingerbread house float. And then following them are gingerbread men.
And the bakers.
And then finally, at the very end, is Clarabelle Cow. And she's cooking. She's baking. And you can, both on her float and on Goofy's float, you can smell the gingerbread.
And to me, that's the most impressive because you were describing this to me. I tried not to watch anything before we went because I wanted to be excited. And I didn't quite understand what you meant by he's driving a car. I don't know why, but it is literally a car. And I was not expecting Clarabelle at all. And that, her float that she's on is massive. It's probably the biggest one out of any cavalcade, which to me is pretty interesting because like Clarabelle, of all the characters to get a massive float, but it's really cool.
It is. And then what's the next cavalcade that we can mention?
The next one that comes to mind is maybe one of my personal favorites, but it's Santa and the reindeer. So my favorite part of this is the reindeer. And I don't know if it's because it makes me think of like the stage show. And remember, I don't know if it was just last year or a couple of years back when it was like the left reindeer and everything and how, crazy they were dancing. So they're back and they're dancing and they're awesome.
but still no Rudolph, which I find really strange. You mentioned maybe Rudolph is like a trademarked character and they don't have access to him.
But they just can't.
But they play Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the song, in the park. But anyway, there are 12 other reindeer.
And they're all there.
They're all there. They're all dancing about. And then they're followed by a gigantic, tall float with Santa on top of it.
I mean, it's Santa's sleigh, Brendan.
And he's waving to everybody, ho, 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 the whole 9 yards.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's followed by a group of elves. And they're really funny because they're like panic stricken. Like it seems like they're nervous. Like, are they going to get this done in time? And so I think those are just face performers. I always love seeing so many face performers. And it's interesting. It's so sad. So many entertainment cast members were laid off. We're starting to recognize a lot of the same people. I saw a gravedigger who is now an elf. And, take that for what you will. But I just think it's interesting. I've never noticed things like that before.
Maybe because photography is now your new hobby, you get to see them a lot more than we used to because now they're on our computer screen.
Quite possibly.
So then after that, they have the toy soldiers who are with the Main Street Marching Band, which is really cool. So it kind of depends. What I noticed from watching it a couple of times is that the songs change as they go down the street, which makes sense. But then the toy soldiers, their dance moves change also. So they have different moves depending on the song that's playing. So it's worth it to try to watch them from different spots because then you get to see different things.
And the last thing I wanted to mention for Magic Kingdom are the festive characters that come out. So I thought this was a really cool thing that they introduced that we had a fun time kind of hunting throughout the park. We mentioned it felt like Disneyland because you didn't know who you were going to see and when you were going to see them. But in Tomorrowland, we got to see Buzz with the Santa hat on. Other people have seen Stitch with the Santa hat in the Tomorrowland theater area. Mm-hmm. And then in Fantasyland was Jiminy Cricket. I was shocked that they brought him out this year.
Oh, we forgot to mention Pinocchio and Geppetto are with Minnie and Mickey.
They are.
So there's kind of a theme going on there. But he is an interesting character, and he's in an interesting spot because he's up there on Pinocchio's village house. And, they kind of block off that little courtyard, especially now because they don't want people to just go and sit and clog up the area. So it's interesting now that you can kind of weasel your way in and take a picture with him. They'll let you do it pretty easily, but
I'm not sure if the cast member was happy that we were doing it, but she did allow us to go, and we got a good selfie with Jiminy Cricket.
I mean, how can you not go take a picture when you see Jiminy Cricket?
And then as we made our way around the park, we then saw Chip and Dale. They're dressed up in their Halloween outfits. They're wearing earmuffs. Who knew that chipmunks get cold ears, but they certainly do. They dance quite a bit. And I almost forgot the best one.
What?
The Muppets.
The Muppets. Yeah. So we got to see the Muppets. We didn't really know what to expect with that. So they're not doing a show like they used to, where they used to actually sing and have like a whole choreographed number for us. But they do have little Christmas banners, and they each take turns kind of coming up and saying hi. The character attendant, talks to them.
The character attendant does a lot of interpretation.
Yes. So she's very helpful, but they're so entertaining. Of course, you can tell right away their personality traits. Miss Piggy is hilarious. Sam Eagle was there quite a bit too. So we got to see them all. And, they don't really say anything. They just kind of pop up, wave around, do their own little thing, and then they go back, and then it's over. But it was really cool.
I almost feel like of everything that we experienced in Magic Kingdom, the Muppets had the most buzz around them. People were very energetic in that area to see them. And then as we were walking away after they concluded, you could see a lot of people really bummed that they missed it. So my ask to you, my humble ask is that if you get to fill out a survey for Walt Disney World, pound it in their heads that we love the Muppets and we want them to stay in Liberty Square. Even if it's not the great moments in history that they used to do, even if it's just like a meet and greet type thing, kind of what they're doing now, there's no voices at all, like Catherine said. They're popping up. They're doing some mannerisms, They're going back down. And then you see repeats. Same eagle came like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, he was a very constant member of the thing.
And then, we only saw Kermit once, though. So that was interesting.
But we weren't there the whole time. So he might have been there more often. We just kind of stumbled upon it as we were making our rounds around trying to find everybody.
But I thought it was one of the highlights of my day. And then, so that's it. So Chip and Dale, that's it for character meet and greets, right?
Mm-hmm. And then they do have the Dapper Dan. So we didn't mention them because we didn't see them yet, but they are there. And again, I'm going to compare it back to Halloween just a little bit. But whenever I picture the Dapper Dans, I never pictured them like, not zombie, but like cadaver Dans, because that's a Disneyland thing. But they were dressed up in Magic Kingdom for Halloween. So I'm very interested. I haven't seen any pictures. I'm interested to see what they look like for Christmas because I'm sure they're decked out.
We forgot another character meet and greet. Magic Kingdom is packed full.
It is.
The 100 Acre Wood friends.
Yes.
So Rabbit, Eeyore, and Piglet, they do ride on the trolley sometimes, but we saw them twice at Crystal Palace.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're standing on the porch there and they're interacting with guests. And again, there was a lot of buzz in that area too. It's very interesting to see that some of these lesser known titles, people still just latch onto. Winnie the Pooh's not lesser known.
Yeah.
But the Muppets, for example, I was so shocked that there was a crowd standing around there to see them. It made my heart so happy.
So let me ask you this. If you had to rank these things, because there is so much to do. And of course, we didn't even do rides. We wanted to do Jingle Cruise. We didn't even get to any rides or anything like that. We spent literally the whole day watching the cavalcades, just kind of walking around, looking at the decorations, looking for the characters. So there's a lot to do. I mean, if you were going for Christmas, you could easily make this like a 2-day ordeal, I feel like, depending on how you do the parks. But how would you rank these? Like if you said, okay, these are your must do's just based off of maybe what you liked or what's rare, what would you say?
Okay, so we're also forgetting another thing before we get there. That's going to be the theme of the show is we're going to keep remembering things. The projections on the castle.
Oh, I thought we were just talking about daytime stuff.
Okay. Well, let's lump it all together because that's the only nighttime thing offered there. So if I were to rank them, I think the cavalcades are the most important thing that you need to see.
Mm-hmm.
Next for me would be the Muppets. I think that's maybe just a personal thing for me. And then I thought the projections were cool. I probably think they're cooler because I wanted to photograph them. I don't know if anybody's really going to get overly wowed by them otherwise. I mean, there was quite the crowd in the hub watching them, but for me, they would rank a little bit lower. It's shocking. 5 years ago, I never would have said any sort of character interaction, but now we eat them up. They're so much fun.
We do. I think just because they bring a lot of energy and because you can't really talk to them too much. Like you can interact with them as much or as little as you want, but because we get awkward when we talk to characters, we can just talk to them as much as we want and then just kind of walk away. But I would almost disagree. I think the castle projections were up towards the top of my list just because there are 4 different projections that you can see, which I think is really cool. And there's a transition maybe about every 10 or 15 minutes. So it's pretty easy, especially if you decide to stop and eat one of the like holiday snacks or something where you can just kind of find a spot and watch. And they have the Christmas music, which is really nice. So I think it's a good way to kind of unwind and end your day, before you leave. So you get to see everything all lit up. And then the castle, I really like the projections. I mean, I know you had some differing opinions versus projections and the lights, but I really like the projections.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really understand the thinking of why you can do projections and not do dream lights, but they gave us more than they were supposed to.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm not going to complain about that. I just think it was an interesting decision. It's probably just less labor to get it done if I had to think about it. But I think that's fair. I do think there is something super magical about being there at nighttime. Mm-hmm. Not even if you take the projections out of it, just walking down Main Street with all of the lights on and with the Christmas tree lit up and all the garland everywhere. I mean, that is one of the most magical feelings that you can possibly have.
Yeah, so I'd say Magic Kingdom is at the top of our list as far as Christmas.
Well, spoiler for the rest of the episode. Jeez.
I just feel, I mean, it's almost a given. We almost started with the hardest one because I just feel like if you're looking for that Christmas feeling, this is where you have to go, because I also think that this is where they're offering the most. This is where you really get the bang for your buck in Christmas and in just being festive. I mean, that's what we love so much about Disneyland when we went, is that they're just over the top. And I feel like Disney is kind of doing that. They're kind of being over the top, and I love it.
So let's transition to Epcot. We got to project a little bit because Epcot, at the time of this recording, still is not doing much for Christmas.
Yeah.
At all. They're waiting more towards after Thanksgiving before they will do it. They kind of put themselves, obviously they knew the calendar when they did this, but Food and Wine is going on forever long this year. Mm-hmm. So I think they're waiting until Food and Wine is done to do a lot of the holiday stuff. But let's see if I can get this. The Taste of the International Festival of the Holidays is coming to us on November 27th. And so that should be really exciting. We don't exactly know what's going to happen. It's going to be a lot of food, but I'm hoping that the individual countries still get to decorate. But one of our things that we liked the most was when you got the different performers and people out there explaining how each country celebrates the holidays. So I'll never forget, in between, where was that? Canada and in between France and Morocco, there was a Jewish band one year doing like a whole Hanukkah celebration.
Yeah.
It was amazing. One of the most fun we've ever had. They did make us get up and dance. I never liked that. But
but we did it.
We did do it, and it was enjoyable. So I'm hoping that that's kind of one of those things that they're holding in their back pocket that they'll spring on us. As far as the menus for the International Festival of the Holidays, I don't know if anything like really jumped out for us. Do you?
I'm so excited.
Really?
Yes, I looked at that list with you, and there were a lot of things that I picked out that I wanted. And we make lists of the food that we want to eat. And we didn't include those foods yet, but I'm going to have quite the list.
Well,
I did notice, though, that there's a lot of turkey, and it makes sense because turkey is like your holiday food. So I'll probably get pretty sick of turkey, but I did think there were a lot of good things. And again, it's probably just because, if you get to frequent these festivals, you often find your favorites and you eat a lot of the same things. This is one that we haven't really gotten to do all that often. So I feel like a lot of these are new to us. So I'm excited.
So I think the Taste of the International Festival of the Holidays, you got to say the full name.
Yeah, I'm proud of you. Yeah.
That's probably the number one thing going on at Epcot. However, there are other things happening as well. They are doing Christmas cavalcades there too. It's the same type thing. They're just putting on a Christmas sweater. It's pretty much the same cavalcades that we've already seen with the addition of Santa.
Oh.
So Santa is going to be in every park. We can go ahead and knock that out of the way.
Which is so fun because they usually don't do that. That is new, brand new.
Santa's a busy man this year.
He is a busy man. He must have just like a rotating schedule. Those tunnels underneath everywhere, he's wearing those out.
Well, if he's been quarantined with those smelly elves for an entire season, he's probably ready to get out and get back to work.
That's true.
So I don't know how Mrs. Claus feels about it, but she maybe likes having an empty house.
I'd say so, yeah.
And then the other things happening at Epcot are a lot of music. So the Jaminators are going to be performing. And then the number one thing, I don't know if you know about this yet, Catherine, the Voices of Liberty are going to be performing in the American Theater.
Oh, that's exciting. We've never seen them.
So we are really bad Epcot fans.
We are.
We never go into American Adventure. Like almost never.
What do you mean almost never? Never.
Yeah, pretty much.
Never, ever.
And so a byproduct of that is we almost never see the Voices of Liberty. I know that they are fantastic. They are many people's like favorite performers on all of property. And so I'm really excited to see them. We've seen videos of them, of course, but we need to see them in person. And I think that'll be a fantastic way to enjoy Epcot, is just to sit and hear the voices of liberty.
So I'd say that would be our must do for that park if we had to narrow it down to something that we're super excited for, plus seeing Santa. I want to see Santa in every park. That's my goal now.
One last thing in Epcot, they are doing a scavenger hunt this year. And so for like food and wine, for example, they do the Remy scavenger hunt. It is an Olaf scavenger hunt for the holidays this year.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know that. Okay, we are doing that. Do you get a prize?
Yes.
What's the prize?
I think it's probably a cup, like it is for every other thing.
I'll take it. I'm in.
A $16.99 cup.
I'm excited.
So
yes.
How do you hide an Olaf is my question.
And it's the same way you hide a Remy. You just flop him up somewhere. We'll be terrible at it. Just like we're terrible at looking for the Pascals over near the Tangled bathrooms. That's hard. But I'm excited.
All right. So let's transition over to Disney's Animal Kingdom. Not too much to discuss here. They're doing the same thing. They're doing Christmas cavalcades. So the one that stands out to me is you have Chip and Dale. There are still Chipmunkasauruses, but now they have little reindeer antlers.
Antlers, yeah.
Reindeer antlers on top of their Chipmunkasaurus outfits. So if they could get any cuter, that's how they're doing it. Other than that, you see Mickey and Minnie. They are in Christmas attire as well. And then Santa is on a boat as well.
Boat.
I thought it was really interesting. Do you know what they call those officially, those pontoon boats in Animal Kingdom?
The party barge? I don't know. I don't know.
A flotilla. I kept reading that on the website. I was like, what the heck is a flotilla?
It doesn't even. I'm trying to picture what two words you have to put together to get flotilla.
Float and tortilla.
I don't think that's it.
You don't?
I don't think that's it.
Well, that was my best guess. And then the other thing in Animal Kingdom is they're doing the Tree of Life Awakening holiday version. So Tree of Life Awakening has not happened in quite some time. The recent time change does make it where we are going to get some nighttime hours at Animal Kingdom. It's been closing at 5 p.m. and before the time change, it was bright as could be at that point. So we are going to get some nighttime Tree of Life projections. That should be fun. I mean, I don't know. Is that something you're really excited for?
I think so. I mean, just because it's something different. And, we usually hate the time change. I mean, I think everybody does. But we have discussed recently that it does give us that nighttime in the parks that we have not had at all since we moved down here. So it is kind of a different change of pace, and it's something new that we haven't gotten to experience, and we're all about new. So I will be excited for the projections, and especially when you think about Animal Kingdom, just because, they decorate, but there's really not much else. I think that's a good way to throw us a little bit of holiday cheer in Animal Kingdom.
Which I almost feel like that's a missed opportunity. I feel like Animal Kingdom, especially in like Harambe Market, they could go all out there if they really wanted to. I
just feel like they never have, like even in years past.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I just feel like that's a space that they could really show us how they celebrate the holidays. And I guess that's Eastern Africa that they're depicting there. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's got to be really cool, and it's got to be something very different than what we're used to. And it would almost be kind of an extension of the Festival of the Holidays, I think.
I wonder how they celebrate Christmas in the Valley of Moara. Do you think they celebrate?
No.
You don't think so? Na'vi don't celebrate Christmas?
I don't think Na'vi care about Christmas.
What's Scrooge's? I would love to see that be Christmas decorated. I mean, I know it's not, and that kind of goes against what we're talking about, but I think it'd be cool.
It would be interesting.
What if all the bioluminescents are either red or green? Who do I need to pitch that idea to?
Joe Rohde.
That'd be really cool.
All right. Hollywood Studios, which if we're just talking about Christmas vibes, I think is my favorite part, for between the music, the old school retro decorations. Reminds me of going to my grandma's house. It's just fantastic. Number one thing must do on your list in Hollywood Studios.
I already know what you're going to say.
Santa Gertie. Go spend an hour minimum just looking at Gertie and admiring her Santa hat.
That might be a bit excessive. You could probably get away with like a 15-minute coffee break. That's what we do if we're being realistic.
Well, it's always like peeling ourselves away. We'd spend the rest of the day there.
But that's a good start. So that's a good place to start. So you walk down. Again, I agree. The Christmas music in there is probably my favorite because of the old Hollywood vibes that you get from it.
A lot of Bing Crosby and Frank Sinatra and Burl Ives. It's so good.
It is so good. And then there, I feel like out of all the Christmas treats, because I mentioned we make a list of Christmas treats, they had, I feel like, the most that we wanted to try. And so I wrote them all down. There's a cupcake there.
A whoopie pie,
which we want. See, we're not very adventurous. Like they have things like pistachio milkshakes, which we've heard is actually very good, but we would never try it. So that's in Magic Kingdom for anyone who's interested in that. But an Olaf Snow Flurry, I want it just because it's Olaf. So I'm excited to go there and spend a whole day there and eat pretty much.
And then on top of that, when you're done eating, you can go view Tower of Terror has its Hollywood Toy Hotel makeover. From what I understand, it's like a very condensed version of years past. We've seen it driving on the highway, but we haven't seen it inside the park yet. But from what I understand, like there used to be a little bit of a story and there was
show.
And there was narration going on as well. I can't remember the name of those two elves.
I know it's Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam.
That's the Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam is the fireworks show.
But I thought it went with the elves. I thought their names were like not Jingle and Bam, but I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay. I guess I'm wrong.
Someone will have to tell us. But essentially it's like just the projections without the show and the narration. So some good photo opportunities, similar to the projections at Magic Kingdom. Just kind of something cool to go with. And then other things going on. We're going to save the best one for last, besides Santa Gertie.
Okay.
Olaf is also going to be joining the Frozen sing-along show. And so for the finale, normally Olaf does not come out, but he will be coming out during the Christmas season.
Oh, is that what you're trying to save? You told me you were trying to save something as a surprise. That's a good one. I like seeing Olaf.
I've got one more surprise.
I wish he was in the cavalcade. Is he in the cavalcade?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Continue.
And then very last is Minnie's Christmas Dine at Hollywood and Vine. And so we can speak a little bit to this because on Halloween Day, we ate at Hollywood and Vine for the Halloween dinner, of course. And so there it was Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, and Pluto. We're all there dressed in their Halloween costumes. And it's the same type deal for Christmas, except I don't know if Pluto is there. I haven't seen pictures of him.
Okay.
But I know Mickey and Minnie, and then Santa Goofy is there.
That's thrilling. He had the best costume too. When we went for Halloween, he had the coolest costume. He had
he's a cowboy.
He was a cowboy and he had like spiders and stuff hanging from his hat. So he always has the best costume. I'm surprised that he's not in. Well, he is in the other cavalcades, but I feel like you don't see Goofy as much as you see the other characters, which is sad. More Goofy.
Poor Goofy. But yeah, I think we would highly recommend that dinner. It was $55 a person, which is steep. The food is not going to blow you away.
It was good.
The food is good, but especially in times like these, there's something really, really cool about having the characters that close to you. They are safely distanced away. They always stand away from your table. We had an interesting table because the plexiglass was right next to us. So they could come right up on the other side of the plexiglass from us.
Yeah, but it was an interesting way of taking pictures because depending on where you sit, They can either come like right in front of your tables and you can kind of get up and stand and they can be behind you. But with the way that our tables were, they would still try to come, but they could either only be behind me or only behind Brendan. Whereas with some of the other tables, they were kind of right in front of you. So it was just an interesting setup. I think it allowed us to see them more maybe than if we were in some of those other seats, just because we could kind of watch them walk around the whole room. So it wasn't a bad seat, but I do think it was worth it. I mean, it's one of the only character meals that they have right now. And I feel like to us, it just made it worth it. They were playing Halloween music, so I would have to assume that they would be playing Christmas music. And at the end, they even gave you a little postcard with a picture that they had all signed. So it was really fun.
Well, and I believe it's the only place that you can meet the characters dressed in their festive costumes. So Chef Mickey's is starting back up soon where you can meet with characters, but of course they'll be in their chef outfits there. At Topolino's Terrace, they're dressed in their
Italian?
Mediterranean Riviera costumes. They're like artists or something, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
And so I think this is the only place that you can meet them in their Christmas outfits, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what I was saving for you, we haven't talked about this, Disney Springs.
Oh.
So I think we already know about the Christmas tree stroll. It's not a trail this year.
It's more like a hunt.
Yeah. So
they get to go find them.
Yeah. So they spread them out throughout Disney Springs, but they're the same trees as every year. And that's a really fun experience just to catch all the little details and everything else. Catherine, are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Guess what it will be doing in the town center portion of Disney Springs?
Are there stormtroopers?
No.
I'm trying to think of something Christmas. I don't know. What is it?
It's going to snow.
I've been waiting for this. No, this is all I've asked for. All I've wanted is Snope. Oh my God, I'm so excited. When do they start that?
I don't know. I didn't see a date online. They may have already started.
I'm going to go every day until I get to see it. Oh, that's thrilling. Okay, that just bumped up to the top of my list. That is such a good date night or such a good, evening.
I can add to it with another surprise.
Okay.
The other thing that they're doing is a festival holiday overlay of Hangar Bar.
Oh, so do you think other restaurants are going to do that too? If they're doing it, do you think anyone else is going to jump on board?
I don't know. But Hangar Bar definitely is getting a festival decorations.
Okay. Well, see, you have a whole date. We're going to go to Hangar Bar. We're going to go walk around for some Christmas trees. And then I'm going to sob in the Snope.
And then you're going to see Santa driving a pontoon boat in the lake.
Oh, this is great. See, this is stuff that Disney would never have done. So this has got to be our silver lining that they are trying. They really are. So it also makes me excited that maybe even after the holidays, that it just means that they're going to continue to look for more ways to do things and more fun little things that they can throw at us. Because this is awesome. I'll take what I can get. It's not a Christmas party. It's not everything that it would have been, but I'm so thankful that they're doing all this.
I really want Santa to be wearing swim trunks and a tank top.
Like a Tommy Bahama shirt?
Yes.
With a Christmas, a light up lei or something.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be awesome.
They'll probably have him in normal Santa gear. Womp womp.
We can hope. There's always hope.
It'd be really cool.
That'd be really cool.
So, of all the 5 destinations that we've talked about now, which, if you had to rank them for where do you think has the most to do and with the things that you're most interested in?
Okay.
How do you think it lays out?
I'm going to stick with you. Still have to put Magic Kingdom first, just because, again, the best bang for your buck. This is going to sound silly, but I'm going to put Disney Springs second, just because it's snowing there. Hello. So Disney Springs second, because I'm super excited, if you can't tell. And then I'm going down to say Hollywood Studios, just because I do love the decorations there. Epcot for the festival that I can't even try to say the whole
The
thing.
taste of the International Festival of the Holidays.
Epcot. And then, unfortunately, I have to put Animal Kingdom last. And I think it's just because of all of those things that you just said. I'm excited to see the tree projections, but I'm not the most excited to see them. So, an interesting turn of events.
So last thing I wanted to kind of hit with you is because we had like all those moving diaries where we talked about what it's like as a local. What are you expecting out of this Christmas season? As a local, I think I can speak first and foremost. I think we're just like really excited for the weather that's taking place. Like we could have worn sweatshirts the other night if we wanted to, and we would have been comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm going to wear shorts and t-shirt for as long as I possibly can.
Year round.
Yeah. I mean, that's the goal, but we could have worn sweatshirts and been fine. So I'm really excited for the weather, but I also just think that Christmas is the most magical time of the year, I think, but it can also be a really difficult time of the year. Sometimes I find myself getting into a funk around Christmas, with it getting darker sooner and the stress of everything going on and trying to coordinate. And I think for me, just going to the parks and having the Christmas decorations, having new things to look forward to, it's just so refreshing. Like this weekend in Magic Kingdom was some of the most fun we've had since we've been down here, I think. We didn't ride a single ride in 2 days.
Yeah.
All we did was just walk around and see characters and take pictures and do things like that. So that's what I'm most excited for. We do still have our gold passes, so we are blocked out for the week before Christmas and the week after Christmas. So I guess you'll find us at Disney Springs during that time, taking in all of the Snope.
Oh, I'm going to go every day when I don't have school. Just walk through it, just frolic. But I agree. I mean, I think in this season, I'm just really excited to get to do everything and just to get to experience everything fully. I mean, I think that's something that we had always talked about looking forward to is just that, when you are on vacation, you definitely have to pick and choose. You can't do it all. And, we've wanted to experience it all and do it all and do it all again. And, I'm just excited for that. And I think Christmas this year is so special because this is what we've been waiting for. This is kind of the end of the year. And it's been quite a year for so many different reasons. And it's just kind of as perfect as it can be, culmination of everything that we've been looking forward to. This is kind of the closest that we've had to that Disney feeling of being locals, where we can't just go to Magic Kingdom on a random Saturday when we get a reservation just to take pictures. That's the only reason we went there, and to see our friends. And, that's exciting that like this is our reality now. And I think it's finally hitting that that's kind of what's going on and that's just normal. And I don't know, I hope that never changes.
I don't think it will.
You don't think you're moving anytime soon?
Nope. All right. Anything else we want to add?
I think that just about covers it, but we are going to be back on Wednesday where we're going to be talking about the Matterhorn. So this is exciting to me because this is a ride that completely intrigues me. This is the first ride that we're doing a storytelling series on that we've never ridden before.
I have been on it.
Okay. Brendan has ridden it. I never have. And I mean, I just think it's fascinating. It has a lot of history that I didn't expect. So I'm really excited to talk about it and share that with you.
Yep. So hope you can join us on Wednesday. It'll be dropping on audio, on podcast versions on Thursday. You can find it on YouTube. So hope you can join us for that. In the meantime, make sure you're subscribed and like us on YouTube if you're there. If you're on a podcast platform, leaving us a review is absolutely the best thing to help us out. We really appreciate it. If you got any sort of entertainment or value or information out of this, we would really like if you could leave us a review. It really helps us out. So hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will chat with you soon.